time in which his ultimate release can be worked out. In the meantime, the U.S. and the Soviet Union can resume efforts to improve East-West relations. And the first test of that comes a week from today when Soviet Foreign Minister Eduard Shevardnadze comes to Washington to discuss plans for a summit meeting. Patrick McGrath, Channel 5 News, the White House.
Now let's talk a different kind of hardball. If the Mets win the National League East title tonight, New York City could be $11.5 million richer. Controller Golden figures that's the extra revenue generated in the playoff games. That is, all if the Mets win. Let's say when the Mets win. The team is in Philly, and a lot of their fans are watching the game and hoping, but Carl White is with some more of them right now at the Sporting Club, right here in Manhattan. Carl?
John, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I could not hear a word you were saying, but the people here at the Sporting Bar in New York are going berserk. They're all here watching the game, and it is now in about the 7th inning of play, and the Mets are putting on some kind of a rally, and these people here are really enjoying it. In the 8th inning, 5-3, Mets are trailing Philadelphia. Let's take a look at some of the early highlights of this ball game, and I'll show you what happened early on when the Mets weren't playing so well. In the 1st inning, Milt Thompson on second, Von Hayes drives to center field, Mookie Wilson judges the ball completely, going over his head, and it's a double. Philadelphia with a 1-0 lead. Then the run score. I don't know if we still have the highlights going or not. Von Hayes on third base. Mike Schmidt grounded to Ray Knight. Knight will boot it. We got the highlights. I guess not. Okay, we've lost our highlights. Anyway, the most important thing right now is that the Mets are rallying right now. It is in the 8th inning, and they are 5-3. They are trailing right now, but there's some kind of an action going on here, and also a great game in Philadelphia. We're going to go to Philadelphia now, where Steve Dunlop is standing by.
Well, as you heard from Carl in New York and here in Philadelphia, where, by the way, there's a lull in the action. We're in the middle of the 8th inning. Throughout the game, whenever the Mets were doing well, you could hear the cheers almost as loudly as when the Phillies were doing well. It seems that in Philadelphia, New Yorkers by the thousands have invaded the city of brotherly love. From the cheers, you would have thought it was Shea Stadium as the Mets piled out of their bus and into their Philadelphia locker room. Mets fans, meantime, made the 100-mile ride from Flushing to Philly in any vehicle they could find. Long ride?
Hi. Yeah, it was.
Worth it to come see the Mets?
For the day they're going to clinch? Absolutely. Absolutely.
You drove how far?
We drove 5 hours, about 220 hours to get here.
From where?
220 miles. From Ithaca, New York. We both work at Cornell University, and we love the Mets. I've been following them since about 7 years old.
First chance you've had to see them all season. So.
Yeah, first game we came to.
Bronx! The Bronx! The Bronx! The Bronx! Rockaway Beach!
Ithaca, New York!
Staten Island! Southampton!
Does your boss know you're here?
I'm my own boss, so I can do just about whatever I want. It's my day off. He was supposed to be covering my store, and I pulled him out at 3 o'clock, and I asked him to come down and see the Mets game today.
How do you feel about her dragging you down here?
Well, I was kidnapped, but since I'm here, I enjoy myself.
Well, in any event, the Mets are now down to their last 3 outs. In this game, the Phillies are up next. It's the bottom of the 8th inning. If the Mets don't win it tonight, we'll be back here tomorrow night to see if they can do it again. For now, from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, this is Steve Dunlop. Bill, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. A bit of Mets fever. Still ahead, we'll show you the city's latest crackdown on teenage drinking. Bob O'Brien has a late report from New Jersey where police are going after the motorists who drug and drive. And what's ahead after Wall Street's latest plunge.
And a lot more to tell you about tonight. Dr. Joanna Shaw finds out